Hey everyone, welcome back. BigRedFishDad here. As you can see, most of my fishing rods are missing off of my rack I built a couple years ago. This was great for in here and hanging it on the wall, but now that they're all down at the other house and just sitting in a corner, kind of stacked up, I need a place to put them down there. So stay tuned and I'm going to show you what I'm going to build. Super simple and easy. So what I've got and come up with is, instead of a PVC rack or something like this that's, elaborate and has a shelf and everything for storing stuff on the wall, I just needed something to put in the corner because right now they're behind the door, and as the door swings open down there, it almost hits them if somebody doesn't put them all the way in the corner. If someone forgets and puts it there, it'll hit them and smash them. So I needed something that I could put them, and I'm gonna make 10. I only have 8 poles down there right now, but you never know if somebody brings one or we need more, so I'm gonna make one for 10 rods. And I was gonna do PVC, right? But by the time I priced that, and since I need 8 couplers and pieces, I need T's mostly is what you would use for that. It's a simple little rack you can screw to the wall, and that works great, but that was gonna be almost 30 bucks. If you have the piece of pipe, 1.5 or 2 inch would work. If you already have that, you can do it for about 20, 17 or 20, depending on if you get the drain type or the regular PVC pressure type. So, which I think would be better because the drain just has that little lip, and so if you want to glue it, you could use that. But otherwise, anyway. So I decided, I'm just gonna make some out of wood since I have all of that cedar out there that's cut up. That's just gonna be, it's kind of the top piece, and that would work great. If you have a 2x4, a 1x4, piece of pallet, whatever you have laying around, you could use. So most people have some sort of scrap around, and you can make some rod holders out of this. And even at the price of lumber today, where it's like gold plated or something, it's only $8 for a 2x4. So, and that's plenty to make 2 racks where you could hang them vertically like this. You could hang the rack vertically, what I'm gonna build, and I'll show you. You can hang it that way and put your rods this way. You can set one down on the ground if you wanted to and don't even have it on the wall. That's how I'm gonna probably do it, not mount it. So you could hang them that way, hang them vertically, hang them horizontally, or whatever you wanna do with these. And it's pretty simple. If you got a drill and a handsaw, you can make this probably in 30 minutes or less. Okay, so like I said, you can use a 2x4, a 1x4, whatever you want. But I've got these. I'm gonna save these thicker ones, even though they're just these top chops or whatever they're called. I don't know what they're called. This one here's pretty good. I'm gonna save it for some crafts. And then this one, see, this is just the one we just recently did. I tried it without the bark, like people were saying. Cut it pretty good. So I'm gonna use this one. I will fix him up. I might even leave this little curve in it to give kind of some accent or whatever to mine. But like I said, use whatever you want. When I mark it off, I'll show you how I got the length. It's a pretty simple calculation. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, in order to get your length, what you want to do is take ever how many holes you want. So I'm going to do 10 at 1.5 inches, so that's 15 inches, right? And then your spacing, I'm going to do 2 inches. That should be enough for most of my reels, except for maybe the big ones, but I'll put it on the end. Anyway, so you take that, and you'll have one more space than you have holes. So if you have 10 holes, you're going to have 11 spaces. So that's going to be 22 inches for the spacing, and then 1.5 inches for 10 holes, 15 inches for the holes. So it's going to be a total length of 37 inches. Now, just figure that out, ever how many holes times what size, if you want 2 inches or 1.5, and then the amount of spaces plus 1. So that's how it is. So for me, it's going to be 37. And this is another one of those that does not have to be exactly perfect. And I'm probably going to have to take a couple of cuts on this because it is kind of, odd shaped and rounded on the other side. Little kick back there, and it almost went all the way through. Now, when I drew this up, in SketchUp and just kind of looked at it, I really had intention to using a smaller piece, like a 1x6 on bottom and then a 1x4 on the top, but it doesn't really matter. It's whatever you think would look best on your wall. But like I said, I'm going to probably trim these up a little bit so they're not so wide. Probably trim them down to about 4 inches in total. This one should cut through, I believe, all the way. There's my 2 pieces, and I'll bring the table saw out tomorrow and trim those down a little bit, straighten them up, and we'll be good to go. Okay, I'm just going to square off the ends, and I think this piece will be good enough for the bottom portion. Now this side's a little bit ugly with all these voids, but I didn't want to cut any more off, and this will be the part on the floor anyway. So I'm just going to leave it like that, and I'm going to leave this in here. I'll probably scrape the bark off and put a little bit of shine on it and leave it like that. So that's going to be the bottom piece. It's a good thing I have all these old boards and logs laying around here. I didn't like the one I had saved back for this, so I cut me a new one. So I'm just going to use it instead. I just didn't like the other one, so I just cut this one off of here, and I'm going to use him. Alright, hopefully my math is right this time. I was doing just 2-inch spacing, not counting for the holes. So I believe it's going to be 3.5 inches apart for the centers. With them clamped together, I'm just going to adjust my stop to go in here, you know, about halfway through this bottom board. That's probably plenty for this. If you're going to mount it on the wall or something, you could, you know, use drill press and drill you 2 holes in here, or use some of those hidden fasteners, or even those little 3-inch shelf brackets. Drill your hole all the way through, and then you would only need 1 board, right? Because then you could just put your board through there. Anyway, the possibilities are endless with this. This is just the way I'm going to do it. So here we go. We're going to start drilling some holes. Okay, I'm going to mark these off to cut my slots. This is a little too wide, so I think I'm going to just mark the one side right now, and then I'll find me a little piece of metal. I had one earlier that I thought might work. I don't know where I tossed it, because, oh, here it is. So that might be better. I don't want it real thick, because then your pole has a chance of sliding out of there. So I'm going to put it right there. That looks like about right. I'm just going to go with that. And I'll just make this for my nice angle here, so I'll know where to put it. They're all pretty much same uniform-ish. Then I'll go cut them out. Okay, just on the end there, you'll see I cut one both directions. That's just because I didn't want this to run all the way off the corner, and I just started this one here. So anyway, that's all. My son's home, so I get to use his cool tools. Now remember, this is just me because I'm going to set mine on the floor, but you can make this as complex or as simple as you want. Just a block of wood and hang it on the wall with some shelf brackets or something. But since I have all this, I just cut me a piece for here, and I'm going to glue a little stand for the top, and then it'll just freestand on the floor like this. Okay, there it is. I don't have my poles down here to really demonstrate it, but I'm going to take it down there this weekend and we'll get it all set up. But basically, like I said, just drill some holes in the board, and you could just do the single board, mount it to a wall, whatever you want. So this is fully customizable, but you know, this way it stands up on its own. You don't have to mount it to anything. And that's all there is to it. So now I have a place to put my poles when I get down there. As always, we thank you for watching. Get outside, do something, and we'll catch you in the next video.